Now that Season 0 of Marvel Rivals has concluded, I wanted to give my overall thoughts on the game thus far. When this game was first announced, it definitely came as a surprise. I don't think anyone was really expecting a Marvel hero shooter, but it showed a lot of promise. For me personally, as someone who was there to witness pretty much the entire train wreck that the Marvel's Avengers game from 2020 ended up being, I felt like it was a shame that we're probably not going to receive a game like that again anytime soon. And it just so happened that right when my cravings for another multiplayer Marvel game started to settle in, this game was announced to help satiate my cravings. I felt like the game showed a lot of promise due to how the gameplay style was fast-paced. The art direction felt like it wasn't just trying to be a dollar store version of the MCU, like a lot of other Marvel media has felt like for the past decade. And just in general, it really felt like this game could actually learn a lot of lessons from the failure of the 2020 Avengers game, and avoid repeating the same mistakes that particular game suffered from. Of course, due to this game being a hero shooter, it was often described as being the Marvel version of Overwatch, but since I've never played Overwatch, I was just simply looking forward to there being a new multiplayer Marvel game that could end up being successful. So, did the game live up to expectations? Let's dive into it. Since this game is strictly an online hero shooter, there isn't a dedicated story campaign in this game. However, there are little bits and pieces of lore scattered throughout the game. The main idea of the game is essentially that two Doctor Doom variants are fighting each other over control of the multiverse, which ends up leading towards multiversal chaos. In regards to its gameplay, this is an objective-based 6v6 hero shooter. When you first start the game, there are some optional tutorials and a training area that you can play in, and I definitely recommend testing out different characters in the training area before hopping into matches, so that you can get a general idea of which characters you can see yourself playing as, and hone in on where your skills lie. There are three types of characters in the game: duelists, strategists, and vanguards. Duelists are your main DPS characters, strategists are your support characters, and vanguards are tanks. I main Spider-Man and Iron Man, so I main duelists. However, I do recommend trying to play at least one character of each role in any cases where there's too many of one role in a lobby and someone needs to switch to something else. The most recommended team composition is to have two of each role. However, that's not a necessity. Since the two characters I main are both duelists, I decided that in order to play more characters to make myself more flexible to adapt to certain comps, I also ended up playing Jeff the Landshark due to his healing abilities, and he is really enjoyable to play. He's such a good boy too. There are currently three different objectives that can be given during a match. There's the domination mode where your team will have to gain control of a zone, a mode where you have to either assist a vehicle in reaching its destination, or be the ones who are preventing the vehicle from doing so. And there's also a mode where two teams compete to gain a collectible called Chronovium from fallen players, and whoever collects the most will win. While I felt like the zones and vehicle modes are the standard fare to expect from a shooter game, I feel like they implemented them into the game pretty well. The stages and themes used actually make sense and make good use of the IP, such as one of the zones map being a secret underground Hydra base surrounded by lava.
Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
A nice little detail that goes a long way is that in the vehicle mode, the vehicle actually changes depending on the stage, so it feels even more fitting to see a horse in Asgard or a symbiote on Clintar. The Chronovium mode is pretty fun, although there isn't really much of a reason to play it since it's its own thing outside of the other modes. Matches in this mode are also very short, so if anything, I say they can be good for a quick warm-up. There is also the option to play in more competitive lobbies where you will be ranked based off of your performance and queued with other players within the same rank as you. I will be honest here and say that my experience playing ranked in solo queue for the majority of Season 0 was not very good, as I would always be stuck with bad teammates, so I only grinded in competitive mode when I was playing with friends, up until recording footage for this video where I started playing solo queue again and actually had some decent luck this time around. In regards to the game's overall gameplay and balance, let me tell you that when my friend and I were putting our first couple of hours into the game when it released, we were getting our teeth kicked in. Here, I can attack Widow too. Okay, never mind.
died.
Star-Lord just obliterated me with his ultimate. You know how I said I was looking forward to the game because it looked like it would be fast-paced? Well, I was definitely right about that. We were surprised by how fast-paced the game is. And just in general, it took us a bit to get used to how the game controlled and felt. Which, that's not at all a bad thing, mind you. But once we got used to it, my friend and I started to find our rhythm.
We ult at the same time. We ult at the same time. Awesome.
Oh, snap! Oh.
Nice. That was perfect.
That was crazy at the end. Oh, they liked that. My frames were at 10. What? Oh, hello.
Nice.
There.
Good teamwork. Good
Tag
teamwork.
team.
Oh, sure. Oh, the one guy. How many people on my team need to go after one Spider-Man? Or Chase?
Was I that good? I do enjoy the game's overall loop because it's not too complicated, and it's simply just fun to play. Something that I was afraid of with this game was that it was going to have a gear system like the Avengers game did, and that it would be very grindy, but they didn't even do that at all in this game. The characters just simply play the way that they're supposed to, and you can just simply drop into some matches and have a good time, as there isn't really much to grind for other than some optional stuff like cosmetics. The game also has a good balance to it as well. It's very rare to have a game release without a specific thing being too broken or dominating the meta, but in this game, everything feels like it has the right balance. Since they made every character in the game OP, it really means that nothing feels like it's too broken or out of place.
When everyone's super, no one will be.
Chaotic meta actually equals good in this situation. Of course, one major factor that was either going to make or break this game was how they were going to choose to monetize it, especially since predatory monetization is one of the many reasons why the Avengers game ended up being a failure. I was really hoping that would not end up being the case here, and thankfully it isn't. The only things in the game that you can buy are just optional cosmetics and a seasonal battle pass. Some of these skins, particularly the MCU ones, can be a bit spendy. However, I think the pricing is fair considering how all the other content in the game is free. And in regards to the battle pass, I definitely think that you get your money's worth out of it. Not only since the rewards are good, but also due to the fact that unlike other games, if you choose to purchase the battle pass, it actually will never expire. So you'll have as much time as you need to unlock the rewards. And something that they did for Season 0 is that since this season only has half the content that other seasons in the game will have, they actually made the battle pass half the price. So it was only $5, which is actually really cheap compared to other games that sell $20 battle passes. Since I enjoyed the game a lot, I actually ended up putting a bit of money into it, and I decided to buy the battle pass as well as 2 Iron Man skins. They definitely earned my cash for the fact that they didn't screw this game up. During this season, to celebrate the holidays, they even had an event where they had a game mode that was basically Splatoon Turf Wars. Everyone plays as Jeff the Land Shark and tries to cover the ground their color, and whoever gains the most territory in the end wins. This was just really dumb fun, and as a fellow Splatoon player, I enjoyed the reference. All in all, this game definitely lived up to my expectations. They managed to deliver something fast-paced and fun, and they avoided making the same mistakes that the Avengers game made. This is definitely my game of the year of 2024, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future of this game will bring. Thank you all for watching, and take care.